I tell people that it's an entertainment hub of geek culture. I just first started drawing around, I guess, 5. But there was a lot of years where I didn't draw. But there was a homeless guy who actually really pushed me to draw. I did. His name was Eugene, and my grandmother used to give him change. He would come to her store. She had like a little shop, and he would come there, and she would always give him money. And he saved up his money for a while, I guess, and bought me an art set. And it said, like, one day you're gonna be a great artist. When I was on the streets, I would walk from county to county, and this is gonna sound creepy at first, but listen. I would find children, and then I would do a drawing for one kid, free. That kid would show it off to their friends, and then the other kids would come back, and they'd be like, "Oh, can I have a drawing?" I'm like, "Well, if you get me $1, get $1 from your parents," and then I would use $1 to make my dinner by just eating Little Debbie snacks. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit, so I don't know. I guess eventually I knew it was going to happen, but just didn't know if it would succeed or not. I wanted to prove to people that like the starving artist can succeed. And being an actual starving artist, guess it worked.
I actually met him back in high school. I was dating a guy that actually stayed in this apartment with him, and I met him through my ex. Now we met up again at one of the anime conventions, and I didn't believe he had a studio until I saw him sitting at a table next to me when I was selling my art, and he was selling his stuff for his studio. It took me 2 months before I could decide to work with Jason. I wasn't sure where he was going with J1, and basically he convinced me to put my work and my story in his hands, and if I believed in him, then it will go places. So after 2 months of him trying to drag me in, I was like, okay, I'll give him a chance, and I'm glad I'm part of J1 now.
I didn't know anything about Jason. He seemed like he was knowledgeable enough, and so I figured, we would try it out and see how things went. The first couple shows, we did curse a bit, but Jason helped us clean up a bit. I think there's even a point where we started doing like a little scripting, trying to make it more professional. We're usually a positive impact, especially the comics. Jason's comic, especially Angel Savior, is basically a biblical story where it makes people actually go back in and open up the Bible and be like, oh, okay, wait, I'm reading this book now. So
I wanted to do a spiritual comic. I wanted to do like a Christian comic that wasn't cheesy, that wasn't like preachy. Why can't we have like a Dragon Ball Z? Why can't we have like all like these awesome high action stuff, but give it like a Christian vibe? So I came up. Now it's Angel Savior. It had a bajillion names, really bad names.
The conventions he started with that they told me about actually started growing. He has a couple of festivals that he does, and some of the names that I hear that come in to sponsor us or even put in some work actually surprises me. It is getting pretty big. I don't want to say really fast, but at some points I'm like, wow, that's kind of quick. And it's been progressing, and I think it's just going to get bigger as it keeps going.
We had other conventions come here, but they're basically, either with DC or Marvel, and really there's no place for anime. And that's what J1 Studios has. We provided a place for anime cosplayers, for fans, for these people to come to.
J1 Studios is like a family to me. Like at this point, it took a while because I don't say much, but just sitting in on meetings for like 3 years now, and meetings, sometimes they're really serious, and we get a very good idea of how business is done and how networking is done, because Jason can really lay it down for you plain and simple about how you make connections, how you establish yourself as a somebody.
Anyone who creates and says, I create for myself only, they're lying. Every human desires to be accepted in some way, shape, or form. That's why people make music. They want to express their feelings to others so that people can understand them. And through understanding is acceptance.
Everyone's dedicated to making this whole image work, whether they draw comic books or whether they, review video games and make posts about it. Everyone's, into the geek thing, and everyone's doing a really good job of contributing to the website and the company, and they're just good people.
I think it made an impact of bringing it back and bringing growth to it. I think a lot of people, because geek culture, we're like, we hide in ourselves and we're not sure who to react around that. With J1 Studios, you don't have to worry about that. You know you're going to walk into something and get along with the people you meet.
I want to get it to the point where all the people that are a part of J1 Studios, that help out with J1 Studios, can quit all their jobs, do that. Like whatever they're doing for J1 Studios, like that would be the only thing they have to do, and be able to live off of that.
I never feel like that I'm just clocking into a job. It just doesn't feel like work to me. It's like a job that I really want to be in, that I can just do for the rest of my life and be happy doing.
I just want to give people a chance that I wish someone would have given me.